Hey guys, it's Nathan. Today I'm going to talk about how to build your degree from a college website and how to understand all the requirements in order to do so as given by the school. I'm also going to give you a template spreadsheet to work with. Charter Oak is the school I'll be using to showcase this. I don't think that Charter Oak's website does a very good job of listing all the requirements for their degrees or making all of the pages that you need in order to put these degree programs together available. So in general, like the layout is poor and the linking structure doesn't make a lot of sense, which means it's a great place to learn because having to sort of bumble through their system will actually make most other systems feel pretty good by comparison. What you're going to see is a spreadsheet I put together for making a degree program. I've used this to make my own degree program, and recently I used it again to determine what I needed in order to finish my associate's degree, which I'd like to go ahead and wrap up and then continue pursuing my bachelor's. So my associate's degree, I now only need 2 more courses. And for my bachelor's degree, I need 10 more courses total. So I've actually passed a couple of exams since the last time I put out a video, which is very exciting. But yeah, I need 2 courses to get an associate's degree, and then I need 10 courses remaining out of my total of 40 in order to finish my bachelor's degree. So that's awesome. I'll make this spreadsheet available in the description, but I'll also have it available on my website at nathansyoung.com, where I keep all of my videos as well. And I also keep transcripts for those videos, and I answer some like frequently asked questions and stuff like that. First off, to make your degree program, it's really helpful to know what degree that you actually want. But if you're not sure, here you can do some exploring. So here's what I mean by that. If you can say, I know I want to get my degree in business, or I know I want to get my degree in nursing, great. But if you aren't sure, and honestly you just want to get any degree, and you really would prefer to get that at speed, you just want to accelerate your bachelor's degree, look for a degree that you believe you could test the most out of. This is going to take several hours to do properly, but it's much better to take several hours up front now to figure this out. Because even if the research saves you a single course, that's potentially tens of hours of studying and at least a few $100s in tuition fees. At minimum, the potential though is that you spend a few hours putting together your degree program and really understanding what that means, and you save hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars just taking a couple of hours to figure that out beforehand. And that honestly, that sounds like a very clickbaity title. So anyway, aside from the time and money savings, doing this will simply allow you to be more confident in what you need in order to get your degree. My friend Patrick told me a story last year about how his advisor told him that he needed a course that he didn't, and didn't tell him that he needed a course that he did, and he ended up having to stay at school like an extra 6 months and graduate a whole semester late, but not just graduate not in the fall and instead graduate in the spring. Like instead of graduating in the spring, he didn't graduate until December. So he could have graduated in May. He ended up not being and leaving, like getting a job and whatever. Instead, he ended up having to stay around until May, from May to like December, January, and then was able to finally be done. And that's just like, that's super frustrating. And I've heard dozens of stories like that, and it's not a great time. So going through this exercise can keep that from happening to you. So now I'm going to switch modes, and I'm going to do a screen share, and I'm going to walk you through how to put together your degree program. All right, let's assume that you've chosen a degree that you actually want, and now you need to find the requirements for that degree. So the first thing I've done is, here's the template that I'll be sharing, and I have a pre-filled one here. So This is the large outline of requirements. And then this is like a bunch of the sub requirements that I've already filled out. So this is the Bachelor's in Business Administration from Charter Oak. This is the general requirements that adds up to 120. This is several of the required courses that they mention specifically, and I'll walk through both of these things. So the first thing is we want to get these requirements. Now we don't know what this section would be, right? So we know that requirements are going to happen and our total credits in the program needs to add up to 120 credits. For the purpose of this video, we're going to be looking at the Bachelor's in Business Administration from Charter Oak. So let's pop open the brochure that they have about their business administration degree. This brochure gives us here an outline of the business administration major requirements. So these are the specific courses for the major, but this adds up to 27, 36, 45 credits. So we already know that this apparently is not going to be the bachelor's degree. This is only going to be the major. So we know we need 120, and that's 45. Major, minimum of 45 credits. All right, well then we'll break that down here. But basically this says in our major we need a minimum of 45 credits. So in this spreadsheet you could say the major requirement, and you could start off at 45. Now if I scroll down here, you can see that in my major requirements, this section right here, I've broken this down a little more. But, and I'll show you how that happened, but this adds up to 45. So this must be the major requirements. Then it says you need general education minimum of 40 credits. Okay, so this is 40 credits. If I add all this up, this gen eds requirements section here, you can see I labeled all these gen eds, and I add up that column, it pops to 40. So this is 45, this is 40, now we're at 85, which must mean that this is another 35 credits for a total of 120. So where did I get this cornerstone and this electives requirement? So this says 9 of which are to be chosen from one of the business concentrations shown to the left. So this is a sub-requirement of our major. So our major is 45 requirements, and this sub-requirement says 9 of which. So if we look here, let me close these windows so I don't do that. This is a sub-requirement. Sba Major Sub Requirement is what I listed for 9 credits. So out of the total 45, there's this amount, 36 plus this 9 that they just specifically set aside in the brochure. 60 of the 120 credits need to be in liberal arts subjects. Academic residency. All students must successfully complete the 3-credit cornerstone seminar IDS 101, usually during the first term. Now, usually means you don't actually have to complete it during the first term, but it says usually. Okay, but that is an actual requirement. Now, is that in here? IDS 101? It's not, which means that that must naturally take away from something outside of those standard 45. So I've listed, here are the gen eds you're required to get, these 40 worth of gen eds. Here is the broken down 45. The electives requirement should have been 35, but they just told us you had to take a cornerstone IDS 101. So that's 3, which means this adds up to 35. So now our total electives remain at 32. Our IDS cornerstone is 3. Our BSBA major sub-requirement of 9. The remaining BSBA major requirements of 36. So a total of 45 required. And 40 credits here in these gen eds requirements. So here's how I've broken down the credits in the BSBA major on this spreadsheet. So you can see I have the 45 requirements here. but some of them were broken out. So we have this 9 that we know comes from this sub-requirement here. We also see that we have 9 that come from these prerequisites, a macro, a micro, and a biz stats. Okay, well that means those are 3 each. Those are each a course. So a macro, a micro, and a biz stats. Now I've looked at the course offerings and I have seen that these are the actual course numbers. So I've added them here and I can confirm that they're worth 3 each. You can see that in their course catalog, which I'll walk through in a little bit. But so this has been broken out. They say you need each of these 3. So now out of our 45, we know these 3, 369 plus this 9, these are now broken out. These are all requirements. So you can't just say BSBA major requirement equals 45. Yes, it starts at 45, but now we've broken out 3 sub-requirements and this one, and now we have this remaining. So where did I get this sub-requirement capstone? So this says management 499 strategic management capstone. Oh, okay, this is also a requirement. So out of those 27 credits, apparently we actually need to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 3 is 27. These are all the requirements. So realistically, in this BSBA major requirement, we started at 45 here. Once we actually started breaking out the individual sub-requirements of the degree, we can see that really there's no give here whatsoever. You could, this says BSBA major requirement, and I left it at 24 up here, but I actually broke out each of these, and you can see that I just put, here's the biz stats, the macro, micro, the capstone, and each of the courses that they list. And all told, that adds up to your 36 before you get into this section, the 9 from upper level credits in one of these concentrations. So they started off by saying, hey, you need 45 credits for your BSBA major requirement. But then when they were done, you only actually had 9 to pick. So, okay, it would have been great if they, I don't know, whatever. I guess they were transparent enough. It just doesn't feel intuitive, you know what I mean? So now that we've laid this out, we understand that we actually have, these are the courses that we need to take just to get started. So this is your 36 credits that they've determined are your BSBA majors requirements. And now we need to fill in these other requirements. So you need general education, needs to be a minimum of 40 credits. All right. That's all this. Which means, okay, but where did I get all this from? Because my gen ed's requirement right here should say 40 in this moment right there in this cell, but everything has been broken out now into individual cells. Well, where does that come from? Well, that's a great question. With a little persistent searching, we're able to find on the Charter Oak website, first of all, their general education, their general course catalog, which is a pain enough to find, but then also their general education requirements section. So we know from our brochure that we need general education minimum of 40 credits. Okay, we drop this up here. Oh, I literally linked it into the sheet. And we need the requirements breakdown. Okay, but it's saying, oh, there's this whole other breakdown. It's more than just that we have to pick courses up to 40 credits. There's skill area requirements. So it has all these sub requirements. All students must earn 6 semester hours in written communication with a grade of C or higher. Okay, that means out of our 40, we actually need 34 general and 6 specifically written. So then we would be at, here's our 6 specifically written. All right. Whoop, there we go. Oh, And we also need 3 in oral communication. So we actually need 9 specifically for communication. 6 in written, 3 in oral. So here's our oral communication. Now we need information literacy, 1 to 3. Okay, there's information literacy. Now we need ethical decision making. That all falls under skill area. Okay, well, we're assuming that, they're using headers properly in uh, their website HTML. So that's written, oral, information literacy, and ethical decision making all fall under this skill area requirements: communication, written, oral, information, and ethical decision making. So all of this are sub requirements. So we've broken all this out: 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 out of our 40. Now we only have 25 left. In general, oh wait, here's a bunch of knowledge area requirements. 3 in U.S. history, 3 in non-U.S. history, 3 in global understanding, 3 in literature and fine arts, 3 in this, 3 in this, 3 in this. Oh no, this is 7 to 8. Also, one 4-credit course that includes a lab must be taken. Interesting. I actually hadn't seen that before. So this says, I'm going to add this. So this is really interesting, actually, because we basically can break down natural sciences into 2 now and say this is this way and put this here and then this here. Okay, this has a sub requirement and a sub requirement of 1 4-credit course with a lab must be taken, and then also this one. Now it's convenient because for the most part courses are 3 credits, and they told you needed 40. Well, 40 divided by 3 is not an even number, and so they ended up telling you had to take this 4-credit lab so that their math came out to 40. That whole system is really funny to me. Whatever. So now we've actually broken out our 40 credits of gen eds. We're very stuck here. Like, okay, uh, that's a lot less general than originally we had assumed. That's fine though. So we have our major broken out. We have our gen eds broken out, and the rest would be here's this cornerstone, and now also our electives. Now, to the best of my knowledge, electives are basically anything. But we also know from the brochure that at least 30 credits must be at the upper level, and at least 60 of the 120 need to be in liberal arts subjects, which means, 1, do we know if any of these things are in that cover the liberal arts? And we need to know that at least 30, or probably about 10, of our courses need to be at the upper level. So now we need to go start pulling courses, and we need some more information about those courses. That's where this part comes in. So here is the level, and I'm saying the level of that is the same as the requirements here. So this is a BSBA Major Requirement course. Well, we talked about BSBA Major Requirement here, and here's the sub-requirements. Now I've listed those very specifically. BSBA Major Sub Requirement Capstone course. BSBA Major Sub Requirement Capstone. I do not like any guesswork in my stuff. 2 side notes here. The first one is that when you are creating a spreadsheet, One of my rules for spreadsheets is that data must be sortable. And what that means is do not put ACC 101 financial accounting both into this one cell. Or don't put this, and this into a single cell, right? ACC 101 financial accounting, 3 credits. Do not put all that information into a single cell. Why? Because that is inherently unsortable. And that's gross. Like, you want to be able to sort your data. It's just good practice. Like these. 30 credits must be at upper level. Okay, this is a requirement we talked about. Now, because I have these in this single column, I can put this sum function here, and I can see that so far I have 12 credits at the upper level. As I continue listing courses here, this one row will fill up with information, which is only this number, which is how many credits that course gives me, if it is at an upper level, until this gets to 30, and I'll just know at a glance. Well, the other thing is I can sort this information, and this sum function will not change, so I don't have to worry about that. So try to keep one piece of primary information per column if at all possible. There is a way using the and sign to put a bunch of things together if you really need to, which would be like, oh, I don't need to go through it. Anyway, there's a way to do that. You type in cell reference, ampersand, cell reference, ampersand, whatever, and it gives you, it squishes it all together into a single cell, and that's fine for viewing things somewhere else, but keep this information sortable. Okay, so here's a column for whether a thing is actually required or whether it's like elective. So like these are not, you see I have oral communication course here. Now, I do have a requirement of oral communication course, but I only need 3 credits right here. So I pulled in 2 of their courses that they allow from their catalog, and I can choose which one of these to take. I can only choose one to meet this requirement. And so these are not required in the sense that each of these individual courses are required. So probably what I would do is that I would choose one of these and say this one or something like that. Then I would probably just remove the other one from my sheet. Or again, since things become sortable with only single pieces of information, you can easily sort the required column and see what you're actually taking. 30 credits, 60 credits in liberal arts subjects. Now, again, so we've got this sum function in this one, and this gives us this other information. Each of these courses apparently, based on the information in the course catalog, is a liberal arts subject, so that's good. Fun fact, none of these are, apparently. So you have to do 60 credits in liberal arts subjects, not including your gen eds? Maybe I'm just making that up. Maybe I haven't researched that. Here's the next column that I really like, which is this a CLEP? Is this a DSST? Is this available via study.com? Then here's my second side note. So the first side note was information should be sortable. Try to put one major piece of information per column so that you can sort it. The other thing is to tackle this upper level conversation. What does upper level mean? If you're not sure, upper level would be like these. These are upper level. Well, you can see that I have them listed here. Upper level means, so the numbers in the courses, right? So 101, 102, 220, 315, 499. The first number designates the year that you normally would take this course. So that's true across almost every single college I've ever seen. So if it says 101, then this first number says it's your first year course. So probably it's a freshman level course. 2 means it's a second year course. So probably it's a sophomore level course. Junior level course at 315, senior level course at 400, or 499 in this case. Now, what the second and third and sometimes fourth numbers mean really depends on your college. One of the things that I can tell you is that usually the third number or the final number designates what term the course is in. So if this is Accounting 101, usually this means this is a fall term, which is your opening term for the year, and this is a spring term. So you would take this in the fall, then this in the spring. This means that the course is available both fall and spring. So if it's got a 0, it means it's available on either side. That is usually true, but every school is different because you'll notice this is $4.99. What does that mean? I don't know. This is 103. What term is that? I don't know. So anyway, this is the far left number means the year. That's true across every college I've ever seen. Usually the far right number means the term. That's all I know. Like any number after the first number is just totally a toss up. Uh, but at least the far left number. So what this says when it says upper level is it means 300 or 400 level courses, basically junior and senior year courses. This does not mean that you have to wait until your junior and senior years to take these courses. It just means that that is the level of difficulty they are at. I will say that colleges usually have requirements in place that say things like, oh, you can only take Finance 210, which is a second year course, if you have completed some first year course, like Fine 101 or 102 or something like that. Oh, you need to take Accounting 101 and 102 in your first year before we will let you take Fine 210, Financial Management, because you won't know what's going on in the course unless you have taken these two courses. I can actually tell you that I literally can tell you, if you take financial accounting, after you take managerial accounting, you won't know what's going on in managerial accounting. If you take managerial accounting first, you'll have no idea what they're talking about. Financial accounting is where you learn all of that stuff. That's why it's first. Managerial accounting is where you use a bunch of the information you learn in financial accounting in order to utilize all this information. And I can also tell you that in financial management, you take a step further in learning how to deal with the stuff that you talked about in financial accounting, the principles you learned in managerial accounting, and then financial management, you actually learn to sort of oversee and make decisions about those things. So this is a good version of the progression of that type of thing, but what they mean by upper level courses are 300 and 400 level courses. Okay, so the last two things I want to cover are how to get this information, like is it a liberal arts? And then also, uh, how many credits is it in this sub requirement? Also, is it a CLEP and is it a DSST and is it study.com? How can we tell those things? So the first thing is, does it meet this sub requirement? So you can see I've pulled classes for the written communication course and also the oral communication course. In order to do that, we would want to jump to the general course catalog. So this is a catalog of all of the general education courses. But we would want to jump to these and say, okay, we need an information literacy, right? So here we go, information literacy. And now we can see that here are all the courses that they provide. That's a lot of courses. Here they just literally have liberal arts, yes or no. So we know we need that. So this gives us pretty much all of our information right here. So this is a well laid out spreadsheet. In this case, we need information literacy. We literally could copy this entire thing, right? The entire thing. And say, okay, I need these. In order to paste these without like this weird formatting, hold Control and Shift and V. So instead of just Control V for shift for paste, hit Control Shift V and it'll paste it without formatting. Anyway, it might be easier for you to look at these this way and say, I don't need this American Studies capstone, so forget it. Or to put a filter on here, whoop, select the area you want, hit this filter button. Now we can filter these, and then we're going to filter by this liberal arts section, and then just go, we don't need any of the courses that don't have liberal arts. Forget it. There, now we only have courses that have liberal arts. And now you can say information literacy course and copy that down. There we go. All right, those all meet your information literacy requirement. Clearly, you're gonna have to trim some of this, right? So what I would do then is go through these and say, I'm not going to take cultural anthropology. Remove. I'm not going to take an anthropology capstone. Forget that. And just do that. Maybe I know something about nutrition. Yeah, I would say I know enough about nutrition. I'll keep that one. I'm not going to do biology, genetics, this biology, chemistry, Com 101. I might be willing to do that. Organizational communication, I might be wanting to do that. I might be willing. No, no, no. Maybe I like criminal justice. Maybe I know about that. Sure. Montessori education history. Probably not. Probably not. Nope. Maybe. But this English composition 2 is where I run into my next point, which is sort of a side note, and I've talked about this in other videos, but I want to make sure you understand. If you pick English composition 2, right? So here it is, English 102. And you need that for this communication course. You cannot double this up. So if this counts towards your Gen Ed sub requirement written communication course, 3 credits in this written communications requirement, just because you took that credit and it is in this requirement, it means that it cannot also be part of your information literacy requirement, even though it is available to be put in there. You cannot take a course one time and have it count twice. So anyway, go through here and just continue to delete sections that you know for sure that you wouldn't want to take until you've whittled it down to a bunch that you would be willing to take. And let's say you're willing to take all of these. Now for the last step. Information literacy. We need to know if these things are CLEPs, DSSTs, or study.coms. And do we know if that is true? Well, how would we know? We would know by saying nutrition, information literacy, nutrition. Okay, Bio 105, nutrition. Is there a CLEP that is called something like nutrition or health? Doesn't look like it. What about a DSST? So is there a DSST for this? Let's look in physical science, astronomy, environmental, health and human development. Health and human development includes fitness and nutrition. Do we know 100% that this DSST will count for this nutrition course? We do not, but we should check because it seems like it might. But now we've identified that this is potentially a DSST we can take. Well, I'm much more likely to take this as a course now that I actually know that this is a test. Now, so that's just for me, but this is it. That's how you put together your entire degree program. I will link this template. So here is the template without all of this stuff filled out. Here is the template that I was using. I will link the entire sheet in the description of this video and also make it available on the website. Please get a hold of me. If you have any questions, I'm available on Twitter at NathanTKC and also on my website, contact form at nathansyoung.com. All right, guys. Thanks so much.